Hello reporters, today I woke up to the craziest headlines, surrounding Will Smith at the Oscars last night punching Chris Rock in the face. I felt like I was in a parallel universe for a moment. I was like, wait a minute, these guys are friends, and they've been friends for years. How did this happen? What did Chris Rock say? So I found the joke in question, and what happened was that Chris Rock made a G.I. Jane joke about Jada Pinkett-Smith because Jada has a buzz cut right now. She had to shave off all of her hair because she suffers from alopecia, and Will was not having it. Jada was very clearly uncomfortable with the joke. She rolled her eyes at it, and so Will decided to go on stage and defend his wife's honor, and he punched Chris Rock in the face. Like, to me, my jaw is still on the floor about the entire situation. Like I said at the top of the video, the Smiths have been friends with Chris Rock for a really long time, which is what makes this especially shocking. But I did notice a little bit of a breakdown in their relationship around 2016 when Chris Rock really heavily mocked Jada Pinkett's Oscars boycott at the time. Jada wanted to boycott the Oscars because they didn't have any people of color really being nominated for the Oscars for a really long time. And she said, you know what, at this point I'm sick of it. There's a problem behind the scenes. They need to diversify. They are just not respecting art from different walks of life, different people, different races, different cultures, which was a very valid stance, right? And Chris Rock, who was hosting the Oscars that year, decided to mock Jada Pinkett's movement and claimed that the only reason she was upset about it was because her husband, Will Smith, was not nominated for an Oscar for Concussion. He said that that was the reason why she was upset, and he joked that Will did not deserve to be paid $35 million for that movie either. And a lot of people were upset by this. I remember there being petitions for Chris Rock to step down from hosting the Oscar Awards for, really talking down to the movement and everything like that. And so when you look at it from that perspective, the fact that they were close friends, they would attend, basketball games together and stuff like that, and then Jada starts to lead a really big movement. She puts her neck out on the line to do this because of course there would be a lot of controversy around it. And Chris Rock, a friend who was given the opportunity to host the Oscars and could have really helped to boost awareness around something, that is relevant to him as, a black man in Hollywood, is relevant to, all people of color in Hollywood. Instead of doing that, he turns his back on his friend and, of people of color in Hollywood. I can understand why that would rub the Smiths the wrong way. And then for him to, make a joke about Will not deserving, a certain amount of money for his movie again, that's another slight, considering the fact that people of color in Hollywood are proven to be way underpaid, compared to white actors in Hollywood. Again, another problem. And then now, flash forward to 2022, Jada has to shave her hair because she suffers from alopecia. And she does interviews about how scary this is for her and how, how much this has affected her mental health. And what happens? Their friend, quote unquote, Chris Rock, takes the opportunity to get on stage in front of all of Hollywood and in front of the entire world to make fun of Jada Pinkett-Smith. At first glance, it sounds like an innocent, bad joke that was very lame and very low-hanging fruit. But when you consider their history, it kind of seems like he's got a hard-on for disrespecting or humiliating Jada Pinkett-Smith in particular. And I can see why Will decided to say, you know what, enough is enough at this point. And, he snapped. That was so out of character for Will Smith that I personally, I can't hold it against him. I can see why, him being married to Jada, he knows more than anybody how much alopecia has affected her mind, body, and soul. He probably has seen her break down and cry over this so many times, so to see Will Smith, to see their friend Chris Rock up there, taking another jab at her, making her someone for people to mock and laugh at, I could see why he snapped and punched that man in the face. I really can, and I can excuse him for it. Have I ever gotten violent with anybody? Do I believe in violence? No, not really, but I can see why sometimes people do resort to violence. I'm not going to pretend that I can't see why somebody would snap at, you know, a friend, quote unquote, constantly disrespecting their wife. I really can, you know, and I feel like anybody can see why, and some people try to act obtuse about it and claim that they can't see why, you know, Will Smith would get to that point. Anyway, I think it's safe to say that the Smiths and Chris Rock will never be friends ever again after this. But listen, at the end of the day, is it really that much of a loss with a friend like this? And I know people say that's comedy and people are getting sensitive to comedians, but I have to ask, like, is it really comedy when you know that someone is suffering from, you know, a disorder and you make fun of them for it? I don't know. I feel like just because someone is a comedian by trade doesn't mean that everything they say is, you know, legitimately comedy. Sometimes people use that, you know, that job, that title or whatever to bully people, to attack people, to say disgusting things. Like, there have been comedians, like, I'm sorry, but rest in peace Bob Saget, but he said a lot of really nasty things about children, like really disgusting, disturbing things about children in his comedy career, you know? And was that comedy? No, to me that is PEDO, you know, stuff, like thoughts that he was expressing. So I don't think that just because someone is a comedian, everything they say is comedy. Sometimes they just say nasty, disgusting stuff that needs to be addressed. And I think that this was one of those moments, and Will just so happened to decide to address it with his fist. What can you do? Anyway, you guys, let me know how you feel about Will Smith punching Chris Rock in the face, and you know how Chris has constantly disrespected Jada Smith throughout their relationships at like the biggest moments for her, you know, like her sticking her neck on the line to lead a movement. That was a huge vulnerable moment for her losing her hair and showing up to the Oscars bald and proud. That was a big moment for her. And what did Chris do both those times? Humiliate her. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below, and as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.